You're in the Temple of the Rants, where I rant about whatever my $15 a month plus patrons want me to rant about. You can get one of these by becoming one of those. This one is for Ethan T, who says, rant about the album Time by Electric Light Orchestra. All the weebs know about Twilight from the Daikon 4 animation, but the album as a whole is a fantastic experience. So, yeah, Twilight is an amazing song. I only know about it because of Daikon 4, of course, which I've watched countless times, and also the My Little Pony AMV set to the song that parodies the Daikon 4 animation, which I also watched a bunch of times. But yeah, it's a really good song, and I thought I had tried listening to the full album at one point and just not gotten that into it. I've definitely listened to other ELO tracks that I didn't feel that much, but I did listen to Time again. And maybe it was partly because I listened to it right after Coheed and Cambria's The Unheavenly Creatures, which was miserable. But yeah, I thought it was pretty fucking good. I honestly think if I listened to it enough times, it could be an album that I really liked. You know, obviously with music, there tends to be that when you hear something more times, you can get more into it. This is an album that it didn't strike me immediately as like my thing, my aesthetic, like something I would be drawn to right away. But I thought the songwriting was really solid across the majority of it. I like the chord progressions, the types of feelings that the songs had. There was a lot of variety. It felt like if this album came out today, I think it would be very celebrated. Like it sounds like obviously an element of like 80s pop and like at the time I think it was going for a futuristic sound. Like it was meant to be this sort of sci-fi, lots of keyboards flittering and these complex melodies over top of like a basic 4-chord structure with some really memorable hooks, some great vocals. It sounds like something that if someone were trying to make a throwback album today, it would sound like this because it, for its time, was very futuristic sounding as compared to what pop actually sounded like in that era. And so it would, if you were trying to create something now that was like an update to that period, you would really just be making something that sounds like Time by ELO. So maybe it was ahead of its time in that regard. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I would give it another go. There are a couple songs that I thought maybe went on a little long for my taste that, I just wasn't feeling their general vibe as much. Some of the lyrics are a little corny, but not in a bad way. It seems self-aware of this fact. I don't know. I think if I think if you like Twilight as a song, I definitely would recommend checking out the full album. I think there's a lot of people who would enjoy this album if they went back to give it another shot. A lot of people who would not feel that it was out of place amidst the modern things that they're listening to, aside from in just that, the production is maybe a little dated sounding. And even then, it's very clean. It's a well-made album. The performances are all good. The musicality of it is very solid. It doesn't feel dated in the way that you would expect an album as old as it to feel, particularly in the genre that it occupies. So yeah, good album, good recommendation. I would say more about it, but I haven't listened to it enough to really go in deep. So for now, we'll just say I'll put it on. I'll keep it in rotation maybe.